Hello fellow Chimera Samba here. Welcome to a video where I'm going to explain the detail of Fortnite Chapter 3, Season 3 so far. And to let you guys know, there'll be more videos about me talking about Fortnite Chapter 3, Season 3. So stay tuned for that. And without further ado, sit back and enjoy this analyzation and review of Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 3 story. After the defeat of the Imagined Order, we decided to just kick back and relax and, well, in the basics of Fortnite, just shoot each other until, well, just die. But then we were given tasks by our good friend the Scientist, one of the members of the Seven. He tasked us to gather some food to set up the party for the defeat of the Imagined Order and our defeat to free the 0 point. And we all expected there would be some food, right? Wrong, it turns out the setup crew that was supposed to help with the party did a very poor job, and I can see why. And the scientist then tasked us, to interact with some poppers at the rave cave because those things are really hard to come by. After interacting with them, the scientists then tasked us to destroy 10 Imagined Order outposts. As it turns out, loopers would complain those things were still around, which I can't exactly blame them. We went to little war against the Imagined Order, and well, just completely won at this point. So yeah. And then we decided to spray them to mock them of their defeat and our victory. So you can say we completely want to make them angry, and yeah, I really want to make them angry because I don't like the Imagined Order. They forcibly dragged people from their realities to this reality. So yeah, I really want to mock them so much. Then we were given task by something that's funny. It turns out the scientist was given a job about plants. And we all know he's not a plant guy. So it turns out he wants us to go to a new place called Reality Falls and go grab something from a thing called Reality Tree and destroy its Reality Seed pods to get a new item called the Reality Seed, which I'll get to later on. It turns out that it can interact with biomes, and really amazingly, to be honest. After interacting with the biomes, you can set it up, it can create known as a reality sapling. And just like with the seed, I'll get that moment on. We were given another task by the scientists is to scan the reality tree. And it drawed a lot of 0 point energy. I mean, the thing was created by the 0 point, so just wow. I know the thing can create life, but that's just crazy to know it can create something like that. Just dang. We also had to set up another scanner at a reality bloom. But then the scientists then tasked us to harvest one of the fruits of the reality sapling. And just a quick note, it doesn't matter which sapling is yours. You can just basically just use someone else's or just find your own in the map. And it turns out after harvesting the fruits, you can gain items, which is really interesting to help you win matches. And yeah, the scientists then decided to get someone else involved with this plant stuff, and this requires the bush ranger. The scientist then tasked us to bring one of his bush ranger seeds next to the reality tree, and after doing so, we now have to wait and see if it actually does something to the seed. And it did, which it turns out after returning to where the seed is, it's gone. So it's gone at this point. I bet Bushranger would not like that. To know one of his own precious seeds is gone. But it was worth it to know what was going on. And we decided to gather some 0 point data from the 0 point itself from Loot Lake. And this is where things get pretty odd. After doing, well, that task, the scientists were starting to doubt himself, stating that the 0 point didn't want to be saved, and is trying to tell them something. And he also said if he doesn't do something, it'll be his fault if some higher up or godlike figure would take the 0 point by force. And it's quite odd that his character just turned into, well, that. I felt so sorry for him. But he brushed it off, and we continue more tasks for the scientist. The scientist then tasked us to go to a mysterious outpost because apparently the reality tree barfed off new weapons for us to try. And after getting these in one piece, you can test them out against players. And this weapon is known as the E11 blaster rifle, which is a very similar item to a certain characters from a certain franchise, which I'll get to later. After testing them out, it seems that the E11 blaster can pack some punches, but unfortunately your accuracy is crap. Another task happened with the scientists, and apparently it is revealed that the E11 rifle blasters belong to no other than our friends, the stormtroopers from the Star Wars series. Thanks to the Foundation knowing about this. The scientists tasked us to put a listening device in an Imperial outpost, listening to know how Darth Vader and the stormtroopers came here in the first place. And we found out why. It turns out the 0 point brought something from their reality into this reality, like a powerful relic or something. So now we found out why Darth Vader came here. Another task was, well, given granted, but this time we were introduced to a new character known as Amy, the robotic AI that the scientist was creating. She didn't give us a task for us to do, and that is to defeat no other than Darth Vader. Darth Vader. The Sith Lord himself. Wow. By the way, you can have any strategy to beat Darth Vader. It's your funeral. So, good luck. You wanted to beat him. So, after defeating Darth Vader, you thought his relic could be his lightsaber. Wrong. It turns out it's not his lightsaber, but something else. We'll give it a task that apparently has an insight to know what the relic is and summon its location. After gathering some clues, it turns out someone grabbed the relic and hightailed out of there. And this requires some investigation. It turns out the coaster jockey from Beach Bash took the relic and brought it to some random location, but we don't know where. So the scientist is going to find some sort of way to make a deal with the coaster jockey so we can find out the information to know what the relic is. And this is where things get more things to do to get to the relic. And that requires us to gather some anomaly items and give them to the coaster jockey as an offering. But then things got a little bit complicated as we got scammed by the coaster jockey because we did all that work for nothing. This made Amy to be extremely angry, and she bit the coaster jockey, which made the scientist upset. Because of this, the scientist decided to remove her robotic teeth so if she's responsible, she can use them again. Which I did not know about that. Jesus Christ. So, Amy then told us to create a fake relic to give her some time to try to find out where the real relic is. And she did. It turns out the relic is at Rave Cave, the same Rave Cave where we interact with the potty poppers when the scientist wants us to do. After getting to the Rave Cave and destroying some boxes, it is revealed that the relic that Darth Vader was finding was no other than the Sith holocron. The same Sith holocron that was in Lucasfilm's animated show, Star Wars Rebels, and the same one that Ezra Bridger used to complete his quote-unquote Jedi training. So it turns out now we found out why Darth Vader came here was to find the Sith holocron and return it back to the Empire to expand their power. But things start again now, a relic hunting where we found out how Indiana Jones came to the island as well. The scientists then tasked us to go to Shuffle Shrine because it turns out 3 relic shards were buried, scattered, and inside. After digging, plugging some pipes, and aligning some mirrors, we gathered the 3 pieces of the shard of the relic. And then our task from Amy was to set a line to different biomes. After doing so, we found the reason why Indiana Jones came here. After we returned the Shuffled Shrine and going to the main chamber, we found out the reason Indiana Jones came here was that the Ark of the Raiders from the Indiana Jones movie, Ark of the Raiders, came to the island as well. Which is now interesting to now know how Darth Vader and Jones came here in the first place. Was to find their powerful objects from the worlds and to bring them back. So our next task was go to a Sentry 7 outpost to find the 3rd and final relic. And after going there, it turns out at Choker Speedway's Sentry 7 outpost, there was a tiny chair, known as the shrinking chair for one of Fortnite's previous chapters. After trying to interact with the chair, a 0-point shield was activated. And the scientist was trying to figure out how to get the shield broken. And this is where Amy comes in. Amy then tasks us to do some basic training in order for the shield to be destroyed so we can get the chair. After running 500 meters, consuming 6 items, and swimming for 500 meters, we were able to break the shield. And able to get the chair. And also it turns out after collecting these relics, it creates a 0-point shockwave. But it also turns out the chair gives out an immense amount, like a bigger one, from light years away. Which means it has a bigger 0-point shockwave than the Sith holocron in the Ark of the Raiders. And the scientist was astounded by this, and he then tasked Amy to do her job. But then Amy decided to do something funny, was to call the scientist Dad, which he did not approve of. And then she called him attractive father, which made the scientist to now think it would be the best idea to reprogram Amy so she doesn't say those words. But then we got tasks from the Paradigm this time. The same Paradigm that worked with the Imagine Order once to defeat the monster from Chapter 1, Season 9. And the same one that the Foundation, the Origin, considered as a traitor since she did work with the Imagine Order once. And did help us to fight against the Imagine Order during the war. She told us that apparently Amy wanted to find the Foundation, which is really odd considering the Foundation is on the island. The Paradigm did thought it would be that he went on an outworld mission, which I can see. So she then tasked us to find some launch flight files if the Foundation made some launch flights. And after finding those, it turns out he never made some launch flights, which is really odd. The Paradigm then tasked us to go to the Foundation's monument statue when it once held before the war began. And after going there, the Paradigm saw something in the distance, and it turns out at the pile of rocks, it was the Foundation's helmet, which is really odd because the Foundation never leaves without his helmet, not by choice. And it's really made the Paradigm to be weirded out to know the Foundation is not there, but his helmet is. And it really brought some head scratches right there. It's revealed that the Foundation is missing, which is really worried because without his helmet, he cannot talk and he cannot speak due to the loop that surrounds the island. The Paradigm then tasked us to go find the visitor, even though the visitor is having his retirement. This guy will not have retirement. I'm very sorry for him. So, after going to Condo Canyon to find the visitor and get him involved, it's revealed that he's not at his usual spot at Condo Canyon. And he also disappeared. What's left of him was his helmet. And just like the Foundation, the visitor won't be able to talk and will be able to lose his memories because of the loop. This made the Paradigm to be worried, and she then tasked us to go find the Imagined at Rave Cave, because she likes to party there. And of course she does. I mean, we defeated the Imagined, so I can see why she likes to party there. After trying to dance on the main floor and destroying the shield barrels that she had to lure her out, which she totally didn't, the Paradigm then told us to go to the karaoke spot where she likes to sing. And just like the Foundation in the visitor, she's also gone. All left is her imagined sword, which she never leaves without because she needs it to fight back. This made the Paradigm to panic and called all members of the Seven, such as the soldiers, to lay out protocol that their members are disappearing, which made a lot of us to be worried as well, because without the Seven, the island is vulnerable and can be targeted by higher-ups and godlike figures. So it is something to be worried about. The Paradigm then tasked us to find the Order and get her involved in this. So it turns out, after going to the Rave Cave's Sentry Post Sentry 7 guard, he tasked us to go to the Sanctuary 7 outpost to talk to the Sentry 7 Sevenger, because the Order was not there for weeks. And after going there, the last location was at Lazy Lagoon, stated by the 7 Outpost Sevenger. And we all thought, hey, she's alright, she's fine. She can finally help us to find where her sister and the others are. Wrong. As soon as you go to Lazy Lagoon, she's also gone. Only left was the wingspan, and she cannot leave without it because she needs to land and fly. So it's revealed that members of the Seven are disappearing, and it's made the Paradigm to now call the scientist. Now we found out what's going on during the events of the parts and weeks. Members of the Seven are starting to disappear, and without them, the island is now vulnerable to higher-ups and godlike figures to now take the 0 point. And this is where something that the 0 point must have warned us about. That freeing it was the biggest mistake that we made, and we paid the price. So that is Fortnite Chapter 3, Season 3 so far. And with Part 8 coming in 5 days, we are now have to see and what happened to the 7 members. Hopefully we can get Jones involved, since he's now an official member of the 7, known as the Legend. I hope we can now find out what's going on. So tune in to the next Fortnite video. I'd like to thank all of you for watching this. Comment, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any videos from me. And I'll see all of you in the next Fortnite video. Bye.